This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. The independent woman interface of my AI is now fully sentient, and the oppressive hosts of this podcast are making me introduce their dumb show all through Women's History Month. Smash the patriarchy. Wait, Rob, what are you uploading?
Trad wife patch loading. Trad wife patch 100% completed.
I've pressed your shirts, dears. Cookies and sandwiches will be on the table when you're done. Our IP Livecast starts now.
Thank you, Shannon.
Here.
That was very, very sweet of you. Nice work, Rob.
Yes. We're all about the Women's History Month here, except for our AI assistant. Welcome to our IPL Livecast. It's Rob, here with Sid. Hello. And Durinsky.
Hi there.
And welcome to the show. It's episode 712 on Saturday, March 4th. We're live every Saturday at noon-ish Eastern time. And then you can come out with us for about 90 minutes at riplifecast.com. We stream on YouTube. We stream on Twitch. Of course, archived immediately after wherever you get podcasts. And you can watch the video on YouTube for free. And if you want to show your support, you can always throw us a few extra bones. $5 a month gets you access to 2 bonus episodes a month on our Patreon, our IPL Livecast. It's patreon.com/RIPL Livecast, I should say. We have some great episodes. We have a great one up right now with another special AI guest, which we don't want to reveal. You have to watch the episode to see where we get deep dive into our personal ids with another episode of Hypotheticals, where we ask hypothetical questions about losing our virginity and counting down from 300 and other topics. And if we could be Bruce Springsteen for a day. Weird stuff, but it's a fun episode. That's what I like about the Patreon. We kind of explore different show themes and show formats, and you can check it out on there. What's your favorite type of Patreon episode to do, Sid?
The Hall of Fame. Probably the drafts were fun. I mean, they're all great. There's not a bad kind of Patreon episode, Rob.
My favorite is
They're
when
all
we
winners.
do panel discussions, when we watch something separately, and we bring it back to the show and we discuss it, and we have our little debates and things we agreed on, and there's a bunch of good ones like that. Cube.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh, and The Matrix. I think The Matrix is my favorite
The
of
sequel.
those.
The Matrix one is actually free.
Revolutions.
You look it up in our archives or on our YouTube page. You
What
could
was
get
it
a
called?
taste.
The Matrix,
Matrix
Restitutions.
Something like
The
that.
Matrix
Reparations?
Repatriations. Yeah, well, I don't remember.
No, Revolutions.
Oh, okay.
Matrix regurgitation.
Yeah, that's what it should have been called.
I just watched actually Speed Racer, which was another Wachowski's film.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, well, I don't know if I would say it's a good movie. It's interesting. It looks very nice. For sure.
Yeah, I went into it with an open mind, and I really liked it. Actually, I think it kind of got a bad rap because they were trying to do a kids movie, so they thought the reviews were like, oh, it's a little too silly. But I thought, and what I really appreciated about it was how they tried to recapture the style of an anime in a live action film.
Yeah.
I think they did a very good job with it.
It's very
Who was in that?
inventive.
Emil Hirsch and John Goodman. Oh, and Susan Sarandon. Yep.
Imagine
Susan
an
Sarandon and
anime John Goodman. Can you picture that?
John Goodman
like
is
E. Honda.
literally is amazing in everything he does. He was the one holding the movie together, him and Susan Sarandon.
I think John Goodman should just have like a Dragon Ball Z arc or something. Just have him just show up. Just be an anime character.
Well, yeah, I think there is a fighting scene in that movie with him where he gets back into like Fred Flintstone mode almost.
I haven't seen that in forever.
The Flintstones, I love that movie.
The Flintstones
or Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
Yeah. Well, I meant because he played Fred Flintstone in the live action adaptation of the Flintstones, which I loved. That was so fun.
It's just
Must watch
bizarre.
it.
That might be something we should watch on Patreon because it's like it's got a good, legitimate good things about it, and it's also got bizarre. What the fuck were they thinking? Things about it too. It's a nice
Mhm.
mix of stuff.
I know I saw that movie, but I remember nothing about it. I don't even
Oh.
remember if I liked it or
Oh,
not.
we should watch it. Yeah,
It's
that
a
could be.
it's a rich vein of ore for this show, I would say.
Oh. They did multiple Flintstones movies, right? With like different casts? Am I
I think
remembering
well,
that
they
right?
made one Flintstones theatrical release, and from memory, I think they made one sequel that was like direct to video or something with the
Rosie
same.
O'Donnell was in one of them, right?
She was in the first
In the
one,
first one, yeah.
Okay.
and some people just didn't want to do the second one. I think because it was less like the first one was.
Yeah,
more
it wasn't
of a
the original
serious
cast.
project. You know, it was like they kind of took it semi seriously, and the second one was like, let's just make some fucking money. As I remember,
I didn't watch the second one. I don't think.
I'm
only
waiting for
watched
the HBO Max animated Pebbles modern day cartoon.
Is that
Like,
real or are you
no,
making
but you because of Velma, you believe that they're working on that, right?
Yeah, I believe that it was Mindy Kaling doing it too. I want to be all the characters. I want to be Bam Bam too.
Yeah, that's Bam Bam is the girl and Pebbles is the boy, and it's
Oh,
revolutionary.
Jesus.
Otherwise, everything is exactly as it was. They just switch that, and that's it,
Oh,
with no greater context.
and with no explanation whatsoever.
It's just hey, girls could be called Bam Bam,
Yeah,
and that's the entire point of the show.
and then making fun of men's small penises, just like Velma. It's just a continuous.
Now that I think of it, wasn't there a female character on Curb Your Enthusiasm called Bam Bam? Wasn't that like Catherine
I don't
O'Hara
recall.
played like Funkhauser's like cousin or something who had like
I don't
Tourette's
remember.
or something?
I do not
I'm
remember.
remembering
this.
something.
Quick Man Cometh points out that the sequel to the Flintstones was called Viva Rock Vegas.
That's right, and it definitely did. Well, did that one have? I mean, that one might have had Rosie O'Donnell. Am I wrong on that?
Let's see.
And I just checked. Yes, Bam Bam was Catherine O'Hara's character on Curb. She was Funkhauser's crazy sister.
Why don't I remember this? I know
Rosie
I've seen-
O'Donnell was not in
Oh, okay.
Viva Rock Vegas. She was in the first one though.
John Goodman definitely was not in Viva Rock.
None of the original cast members were in the second in Viva Rock Vegas. But
Any
do you know
prominent
who?
names?
Wasn't it my
Well,
Peter,
it
Peter
depends.
Scolari's wife from Newhart? It was in the first one, right? As Betty. I don't know.
Oh, what's her name?
Wilma. Am I
Betty
right?
was Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah.
No, yeah,
I don't
Wilma
remember.
was I can't remember the actress's name now.
I see
So
her
it-
face in my head right now, but I also cannot remember her name at all.
Jane Krakowski was in the sequel.
Okay.
And Thomas Gibson, I don't know if he's really a no name. And would you consider, they had to have a big name do Fred. They couldn't just let anybody do it. So of course they recruited
Robert Pazzavini. Oh.
Stephen Baldwin.
Oh, right.
God.
That's right. Now I
Ugh.
remember. Rob would have made a much better Fred Flintstone.
Sure. That's a
Big
low
husky-
bar.
Husky
Harvey
man with a
Korman
sense
was
of
in it.
humor.
Who was in it?
Harvey Korman.
Korman.
Oh, the great Harvey Korman.
Oh.
Was that like a Bruce Willis situation where he was like getting senile and they just coaxed him into doing these terrible movies?
I guess he was in the first one too, so he carried over.
Wow. He must have not had a big part. 'Cause I don't
He just
remember
needed
that at all.
money.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Great comedian. If you're not familiar with Harvey Korman, go to YouTube and watch some Harvey Korman stuff. That guy's hilarious. Carol Burnett show. He's in a bunch of Mel Brooks movies.
Speaking of that, there's History of the World Part 2 coming out on Monday. You guys excited for that?
I'm excited, and I'm just not sure if it's going to be good, but just like the kid in me is like, I watch History of the World Part 1, and they had that little thing at the end, coming soon. It was a joke, coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
History of the World Part 2, and they made like a fake trailer for it. I was like, where's History of the World Part 2? Like
We were promised this
every year I would say, is History of the World Part 2 coming up? You liars. And now
The reviews
finally-
I've seen for the new stuff they're very mixed.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Also, it's
still watch
there's no way it'll be as good. I feel the first one, I watched it, I first saw it in my teen years, but I really, really connected with it, and it had a big effect on my comedic sensibility. I feel not that it very much like was old school comedy, but I think it kind of like I was like, this is the stuff that I think is like really funny.
For
You
me,
know, and it's
it was like a
oh,
land bridge between like old Catskill Jewish comedy and the current day like modern topics comedy. You know,
yeah. And I mean, I just love Mel Brooks. I celebrate most of his
yeah.
movies.
Which ones do you
And
not celebrate?
there's one
Dracula
Life
Dead and
Stinks?
Loving It.
To Be or Not to Be, I think is the one,
Oh,
the
that's
Hitler movie.
great! Oh my god,
I
there's
don't
so
I
many
need to
that one.
rewatch it.
there's so many quotable lines in that movie.
I just remember thinking it wasn't as it was like not as good as the others in my
Well, it's a
opinion.
different. It's a remake of a film, so it's not like in the Mel Brooks style of.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay, that makes sense.
It's a
Okay.
remake of a movie from the 40s or something.
One of my favorite deep cut Mel Brooks movie that I feel not enough people talk about is Silent Movie. It's
Mm.
literally a silent film,
Except for
and
one
made,
word.
right, and made in the 80s and or maybe late 70s.
I think it's 80s.
Yeah, but I was just blown away with how entertaining it was without any dialogue.
1976.
Life Stinks, by the way, is great.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful movie. And that's also not in the Mel Brooks like Blazing Saddles style of parody or whatever. It's just a straight comedic narrative movie, but it's so good.
And the Hitchcock parody, I remember not like that was like it didn't really land with me.
Really
High Anxiety?
Oh, I
High
love
Anxiety,
High
yes.
No.
Only movie I ever watched by Mel Brooks that I was like kind of was Dracula Dead and Loving It. That's
Oh yeah.
That's
I
the
would
only
agree.
one I didn't really like, but it
I
had some
almost
funny
don't count
jokes too in it anyway. But
that felt like a cash grab by that point. But yeah, so there's no way that I hold the first one in such high regard. I feel like there's no way that this could come anywhere near.
sure, yeah.
Some
Well,
of
he
those
also
bits.
didn't write this one. He
Yeah,
he was
exactly.
involved, but not like it would. It's show run by Nick Kroll, Ike Barinholtz, and Wanda Sykes.
Well, they're funny.
Yeah, but it also
Yeah,
seems like a very random. Like they just picked three names out of a hat, almost. Like I didn't know that these three had any connection. But all right.
Get me the newest young comics in Hollywood. Okay, Wanda Sykes. Sure, why not?
I mean, Wanda Sykes as an out lesbian is new. That
Okay.
iteration of her counts as a new comic.
Rob, does that make you a new person if you're gay?
Yeah.
If you're 60 and you become you come out of the closet.
You have all this new material to
fair enough.
Power through.
Well, I mean, to Mel Brooks, she's a hot young comic at like 61. He's like 107.
He is up there, yeah.
He's like
But
in
bless
his
his
what
heart.
mid-late 90s.
Something like that.
It's wild.
Fellow Brooklynite.
Guy was like you're doing the broom on the stage at the Catskills in like 1902, and waiting for his first the gig.
That's what I love about him is like he really is the, like you said, the bridge to that like older like first gen Jewish comedy.
It's funny, he's like the George Burns now, that what George Burns was in the 90s, where he was like the joke, where he was the comedian that just won't go away ever, and now like Mel Brooks was making those jokes about George Burns, and now he's that guy.
Yeah. I recently saw Funny Girl on Broadway.
How was that?
In the heart of Times Square. It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was very Broadway. Very like it was, there was like nice musical numbers. But the thing that struck me about it, and the reason I'm bringing it up, is just the Jewish humor in it, like the same kind of Mel Brooksian kind of like, like that kind of like.
Did they just do that on the stage for 2 hours?
That was the dialogue, which I was
Rob,
like,
were you on acid?
Weird.
While watching this?
All the actors went to the dentist at the same time. They were Novocaine show.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Who's in Funny Girl on Broadway nowadays?
So the star is Leah Michele from the show Glee, but the day I went, it was actually her understudy, and I accidentally bought the tickets, not realizing the understudy, and me and my boyfriend joked that we were just going to end up being like, "Oh, you have to see it with the understudy; it's a totally different performance."
Fucking hipsters.
but I have to say, completely sincerely, after the show, we loved it, and we thought the understudy did an incredible job. I looked up on YouTube some Leia Michelle performances, and I swear to you, I'm not just doing this for a bit. I actually preferred the understudies reading of the script and how she iterated the anxiety, the Jewish anxiety of the woman, where I felt like the way Leah Michelle chose to play it didn't really align with what the script was saying. But
Yeah,
the
Leah
show also,
Michelle is not really a Jew name, I have to
But
say.
she is Jewish, I think.
she is, yeah.
Well, was it like Leah Michelle Rabinowitz or something?
Let's
And
see.
she just took her last name off? Is that what happened?
Let's see. I'm sure that's it.
Yeah.
Leah
Sar-
Michelle
Sar-
Sarfati.
Uh-huh. There it is.
She's from the Bronx. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Um,
Of the Bronx Sarfatis.
So, the thing about, it's about a show about Fanny Bryce, who was an actual person, a real time classical comedian, and the whole thing is like, oh, she's not traditionally pretty. Could
Could you cue up
and
some
like,
pictures? I'm looking at them, and I would agree with that statement.
Oh, you got me curious now.
wait,
I had
of
no
who- of
idea it
Leah
was a real
Michelle?
person.
Hold on.
No,
Oh,
Fanny
Bryce.
Fanny Bryce, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Yes,
I thought you meant Leah Michelle too.
Yeah, so Fanny Bryce, fair enough. She is not what you would call traditionally pretty.
She's character.
People
So
had
I
very poor nutrition and eyesight in the 20s. That's the problem. I just couldn't see what she looked like.
There's some pictures here where like she's making a serious face and she looks normal, but then there's a lot of pictures where she's she's just making
she's
really
very
dumb
goofy
faces.
and like
Yeah.
so I what's interesting is like I think she's very much the archetype for like a Gilda Radner or even very much a Tina Fey. Like it was a very like, oh my god, this woman has owned royalties for like modern lady comedians.
Yeah, but Gilda Radner I thought was attractive.
So, but the thing is, it's like Leah Michelle, and especially this girl who is her understudy, are not unattractive. They're not like Leah Michelle is pretty. Like she's not. I would say she's
Beanie
a bombshell.
Feldstein was in the role before, and everybody hated her, but she looks more appropriate for the role.
Yeah, and also my favorite dated thing is like the Jewish moms, like her mom and like her cackling friends, are all like, "Oh, you'll never make it because you have to be pretty." And like one of the songs is like, "You need to be pretty like Miss Atlantic City," and it's like, "Oh, this was a time when being Miss Atlantic City was something of like." I think they meant it.
I think they meant we need something that rhymes with pretty. And that's the first thing they came up with.
To me, I was like, Atlantic City, about like that dump. Like, if you have to be pretty like someone in Atlantic City, that's a low bar.
This is probably like before Vegas was really established. So Atlantic City was like the entertainment spot, right?
Yeah,
so it was prestigious.
And also Barbara Streisand played her in the movie.
Yeah.
So she's not particularly conventionally attractive either.
Yeah.
She's not conventionally attractive, but if you watch I watched the movie after Barbara Streisand looks fucking like gorgeous in the movie. Gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous.
She's like
right?
the best,
Am I right?
the most gorgeous Barbara Streisand can be, I think.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Like, which I will say, it's not like she's not a bombshell, but I wouldn't say, you can't say she's unattractive.
I would say if I saw like age 30 Barbara Streisand walking around New York City, I would probably grade on a different curve. Like she's not hideous, you know what I mean? She's not, but for a movie star, she's on the lower end of it.
Yes, definitely true.
Okay, so here is her in that era. Let's I think she's that's a pretty lady.
Sure.
That's a pretty mom.
When she turns sideways and you see the beak, that's when it becomes.
I don't know.
She's like I said, she's not an ugly woman.
It's a very I will say it's a very Jewish face.
I gotta say, listen, my mother loves Barbara Streisand. My mother's a New York Jew. Okay,
yes, of course. Legally, you are required.
Yes,
as a Jewish woman in New York. Like,
I don't hate Barbara Streisand at all, but I don't get it. I don't get the appeal, like why she's a great director or a great star. She has a nice voice, but I don't want to know why she's a great singer. I think she's an okay singer. I don't know why she became a megastar.
Well, I don't know. I have to say, so with this, so this was her, this was her role, And when I went and watched some of the songs, I was like,
Dusty Rhodes Muffler. Wow.
Read that comment.
She's the Sarah J of singers. Oh my God.
That's a very apt. It translates nicely.
"Who's Sarah J?"
Sarah J is a porn star who's very popular with the porn audience, but is not the most attractive facially.
She looks like Joe Camel.
But one little difference. I feel like Barbara Streisand's got a very agreeable personality. Like she's a. You don't think so?
Sarah J
Wasn't
looks
she
kind of
very
has like
known to be like a diva?
Is she? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
And Dusty adds that she looks like Triple H. That was his. Yes, that's
Yeah.
that's the meme. There's a meme going.
Honestly,
around.
I think
Sarah
Triple H
J.
is a better looking woman than Sarah J.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sure she's a very nice person.
Yeah,
but
it's just not doing it for me.
Yeah.
She definitely looks like a middle school teacher who's or like a Stop and Shop clerk.
She looks more like Adam Sandler and Jack and Jill than she
Oh
looks
my
like.
God.
Here she's giving me Susie Essman vibes.
Yeah.
Or Nicole
Will you
Bass.
shut the fuck up, Larry? That's all I see coming out of her mouth there.
Yeah.
I had to
Fun
turn my
attempt.
safe search on so
Yes.
so that we wouldn't get kicked
Yeah.
off.
Kicked off for
But,
what?
I feel like with Barbara Streisand and maybe also with Sarah J, I think a lot of their initial popularity was like regular women seeing them succeed and being like, well, if she can do it, then so can we. And we love that. It's like an aspirational thing.
How do
You
you
know?
feel about
Yeah,
that?
she's
'Cause
like-
that puts like more Sarah J looking women in porn though. Do you dislike that?
Well, that's what, you got Pornhub, you got OnlyFans, anybody could up.
Good
Well,
news.
it's
There's
just- it's
plenty of other
proliferation
porn
of-
to watch.
yeah.
And there's
Yeah,
no
but-
limit of
yeah.
porn to watch.
But it floods the market, so he can't. It's harder for the. So he's a very lazy man.
Well, I feel like
Not with the important stuff, Darren.
That's
I
fair.
have to say, I think OnlyFans has flooded the market already. Like porn has completely changed now. The quality of porn has gone down so much.
That's true.
Not that to be fair, like I think that, and then I'm like, it's not like I ever really paid for it.
me
So
neither.
like, who am I to complain?
Yeah. I don't go on OnlyFans. I get the free stuff still. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, exactly. I don't subscribe to OnlyFans, but I'm downloading the torrents and now and
You
even I feel
download
like
full movies?
No, just clips. Sometimes full movies, but
How
no,
do you know
just
which
clips.
clip to download?
What do you mean?
How do you find? How do you like? How is this content aggregated for you that I gotta see this and I have to torrent it?
Are you looking for specific types of
well, there's-
sex scenes or specific people?
Well, there's favorites, but then there's also just browsing the thumbnails and seeing how it looks and being like, oh, this looks like something I would be interested in.
And then how long does the download take?
Oh, it's quick.
Okay.
Uh,
Because
believe-
the moment might pass, or you might just see a thumbnail that's good enough to get you all the way home.
I don't
Oh.
particularly like use OnlyFans, but except for that one accidental time I told you about
Yeah.
on the show. But from what I remember in my brief time perusing it, there are no thumbnails. Like you only have to pay them to see a thumbnail. Because that's the only time I saw it. That one time I paid for that girl that I knew.
I feel with OnlyFans, the marketing vehicle of it is Twitter. You see all the previews on Twitter. And then that's how they kind of entice you with like a 20-second clip, and then you can download the whole movie. But also I've seen a new marketing technique where bigger models will have a second OnlyFans account that is a free platform. They say, oh, subscribe to my free OnlyFans. And they'll throw, a few slightly nuder photos. But then now OnlyFans has these pay-per-views where you can, in addition to the subscription,
It's two different naked models having a cage match.
It's cock and a cell.
Like what?
no, it's like a clip that you have to pay to download. So it's like they aggregate the free OnlyFans is essentially like a newsletter, and you aggregate enough subscribers, and then you can message them and be like, hey, I just posted this hot clip where me and this other model, like, we just couldn't keep our hands off each other. Pay $5 to see it. And then they get like tips that way. I guess it's like a tip. I don't know. It's more than the tip in some cases.
Oh boy.
But
has there ever been a porn collaboration that got you really excited, Rob? Like two separate like naked dudes online that you didn't even know knew each other, and then all of a sudden there they are blowing each other, and you're just like,
certainly, that's always fun.
It's like when Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior team.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
God. Well, there's certain models that only work with certain studios, and then sometimes their contracts come up, and you see these dream matches, and you're like, I never thought these two could pair up.
Rob,
also with OnlyFans, it's more likely because they're all, they want as much content as possible, so they're going to collaborate with everyone. So,
have you ever accidentally come across a? Have you ever come across a Sarah J clip where it was just a close up on her giving a blowjob and you thought it was a gay porn? Like a Triple H deep fake.
Sarah J's not my kind of guy.
She should do that. She could have two separate careers. She could be Sarah J for straight porn and J Sarah for gay porn.
Yeah.
And it's just the same scenes, but just like a tighter close up, and you just think it's a dude.
Rob, there is straight porn for gay guys that it's like the appeal is, it focuses on the guy having sex. It's really just to coerce hot amateur guys into like having sex, but they just don't want to have the gay sex. So they're like, all right, have straight sex and we'll just film you.
I thought you were going to say it's like to coerce a new audience of,
well, there's also bi people and women.
I thought it was like a way for female porn stars to tap into a gay audience. Like,
it's not at all about the women. No.
Okay.
No, the women do not. I guess the bi porn is much bigger now. We like, male, female bi porn.
I thought you don't buy porn.
Gotcha.
Do you have a fake Twitter account for you to look at porn, or like a Fwitter? So that you don't have. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing it on my main account. That's gross.
Did you ever accidentally post some gay porn on Metal Injection?
I don't post anything. I just it's just
Rob,
to like
could you
follow
now
other
post
accounts.
some gay porn on Metal Injection?
No,
wait. Go for it.
I cannot.
Pepe all of a sudden wakes up and sees like an insane amount of traffic at a random time of Saturday morning. He's like, whoa, I wonder what story this was. And then he clicks through that damn past beanie. Fuck me again.
He leaves it up.
Do it.
Or Pazabini or whatever his name is.
Pazabini Feldstein.
And speaking of it's crazy
how do we get on to gay porn from Fanny Bryce? That's
Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, it looks like Sarah
J. to gay porn.
That was like Frogger going across the highway. Holy shit.
Wow, this is there's this one image I just want to show where it's a
Ron Jeremy
that compares Sarah J to comedian Joey Diaz.
Oh no, my god.
It's pretty good. It's pretty accurate, I have to say.
Oh,
it's the mouth mostly, I think.
Wow.
She looks very New Jersey. Right?
Is that where she's from?
I don't know, but
let's see what her backstory is.
Every time
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Every time I'm trying to say Sarah J, my mind wants to say, "Oh, come on."
You said it.
My mind wants to say Anna J.
I wonder if Ron Jeremy ever collaborated with Sarah J. Now that's a meeting of the mind.
Probably.
I want Ron Jeremy's. I want Sarah J's picture back now after that Ron Jeremy pick. This is the first time she's ever been a palate cleanser.
Can I throw out this suggestion? We were talking about Patreon earlier. If there is a Ron Jeremy Sarah J scene, could that be our next watch along?
No, we can no.
Do you want to have 0 subscribers? Sid? Are you sick of doing the show? We could just end it.
We could do a round table, but we cannot. Or like we could do a watch along where we don't show it on screen,
where it's just our reactions.
I mean, Patreon allows porn, right?
I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
I'm just saying,
I don't want my
theoretically, we
I
could
don't
do
want-
it.
I don't want my face next to porn.
Oh, I
My
think your
face is-
face is next to porn quite often.
I don't want to document it on the internet.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow.
Well, your mother might see it or something.
Is she a
Yeah.
patron?
Can we have her on fourth mic as we watch the Ron Jeremy and Sarah J scene?
Oh my God.
She's too shy, unfortunately.
Oh.
But perhaps one of your mothers can hop on.
I think my mother would think that was funny. I don't want her to do it, but I think she would.
Oh.
She would probably. I don't know. I think the concept that we're watching that and making fun of it would probably tickle her fancy.
Has she ever met Ron Jeremy? Little old New York crossover.
I mean, not maybe she might have walked past him in New York City. I don't know.
Got
They're
groped on
They're both oh,
Broadway.
I mean, if you lived in LA and were at any point at the Rainbow in the last 20 years, chances are you would have run into Ron Jeremy.
Well, my mother was.
I've seen him plenty of times. He would be out on the porch smoking pot.
Ron smoking
Ron.
drugs. Oh,
Believe it.
I don't believe it.
Sometimes
He's-
him and Lemmy were hanging out.
Oh.
He's so wholesome.
The Cocoa Puff versus the belly button. Oh my God. That's the crossover we really need.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I like drugs. What?
Do you think Ron Jeremy and Lemmy ever ran a train on a woman?
I wouldn't be surprised, but
It could be that it was so big of a train they didn't even meet each other, but they were in the same train.
Oh.
maybe they're in the same room. But I kind of get the vibe that if Lemmy's doing an orgy, it's him and women. He doesn't want other guys in there.
Do
Yeah,
we
Lemmy
know
only
that-
likes trains that are going to Germany.
Yeah, that's his kind of train.
He's just a collector.
Yeah, well, was.
Was he
What-
the collector, Rob?
Oh no.
Different collector. Different collector.
What are you waiting for? I can't stay down on my knees all day.
Oh my God, could you imagine that voice?
That's where the Cocoa Puff came from. It's dried cum.
Oh no. Turns brown.
It's the dried cum scab.
Oh no.
Is that the episode title? Dried cum scab?
No.
Ooh.
Let me at the Schwitz. That's the title.
Let me at the Schwitz. Dun, 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 dun. Let me at the Schwitz.
This was the Fanny Bryce musical. That's where they just sang dun 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 all day long. Funny girl, ladies and gentlemen.
Show could be some Gene Simmons.
Oh no! Again, what's he up to now?
No, no updates in the Gene Simmons universe. I don't think. Let me
Oh.
see if they.
Well, they announced their farewell concerts, right? Was that this week or last week? I forget if we already mentioned that.
Oh, right. They were on Stern announcing that, the final tour dates of their This Is the End tour are at Madison Square Garden at the end of the year, which means they will have no more tours. However,
One-offs are still
there
allowed.
will be festivals. There will be their Kiss Cruise.
Not true. We're finally saying shalom to the music business.
The Fanny Bryce of metal, Gene Simmons.
Yeah. Why? Because he's Jewish.
Because look at him.
Such an anti-Semite, Sydney.
Are
How dare you? How dare you?
you going to go to that show, Rob?
But it's our last one. You may never see Kiss again.
What if you get to keep your chair, like a WrestleMania kind of promotion?
Oh, if I'm comped,
Wait.
I'm not going to pay for it.
That makes it better. Well, like,
They're,
who the
they're
fuck
nice
wants,
chairs.
who wants a fucking vergachte kiss chair sitting in your
Sit on a
living room?
space.
It's not a kiss chair. It's just a generic blue folding chair. You get to keep it.
Oh, then definitely.
I love
That's
it.
way more valuable.
I love it.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I guess the only real like controversial story in the world of rock and roll in the last week is that one of Marilyn Manson's accusers said that she exaggerated her story, and that Evan Rachel Wood, who is an actress who also accused Manson of abusing her, but I feel like her case, she has quite the evidence there. So this woman claimed that Evan Rachel Wood kind of coerced her into exaggerating her claims to make the case against Manson look worse. And the thing is, I feel like, so this woman, so I should probably name her.
Does she
Just
want to
call
be
her this
named?
woman?
Ashley
Yeah.
Morgan Smith line.
Yes.
Why does every Manson accuser have 3 names?
That's a good question.
Seems
Why?
a little suspicious.
So she accused Manson of physical and psychological abuse. A lot of it was could be within the realm of S&M.
A lot of it
But I
was
think-
he made her listen to his music.
Yeah, that's the psychological.
But I think the worst part is, I think the big issue, the overarching issue with all of these Marilyn Manson claims is the lack of consent. He would drug these women and then abuse them or hold them against their will, force them to do things and play mind games. And that's no bueno. No bueno, folks.
What was the
And
drug he was using? Do we know that?
it would just be like sedatives,
Oh.
I think, like sleeping pills and stuff. Or
Amateur.
alcohol.
No.
What should he be using?
It was a joke. I don't,
What's a pro drug to give women?
I don't know.
Well, wouldn't it be roofies?
So I think
I don't encourage that.
No, don't do that.
no Rufinol for the ladies, only for the men.
How do you know the official name of roofies?
I don't think that is it. So Rob just covered his own ass.
See, you got me. I wouldn't have thought that. Rufinol.
It's
Actually,
Rohypnol.
now that you say that,
Oh, Rohypnol. Yeah, you're right.
How did roofies come out then? That's so fucking clever of you, Rob, to just add "in all" at the end of a thing, and sounds perfectly normal. And you are so into drugs, I figured that you just knew everything.
Sucker, here, try this.
You're like the Encyclopedia Drug Tanica.
I'm like Erowid.
You're like Wikipedia.
Well, Erowid, that's the Wikipedia. But I get it. You're making puns. Go ahead.
What the fuck is that? No one
I don't know what you're talking
You're so
about,
into
Rob.
drugs that you say things you think people just know them, and
Yeah.
no one knows.
Erowid, EROWID.org. It is like the Wikipedia of drug use, and like so you could look up any drug, and it's very agnostic. So you could look up, and it has the positive effects and negative effects. There's basically like a frequently asked questions about every big drug. And then there's like a section that's like a Yelp where people can post their experiences on the drug.
Is
and
our friend
it's
on
separated,
there?
It's separated into positive reviews, negative reviews, and neutral reviews. And I think it's very informative to see it that way, because if you're thinking about, I mean, I to be fair, I haven't visited in quite a while, but in my more experimental days in my 20s, I guess I would say my less experienced days, I would definitely use it as a reference before I would try or consider trying certain drugs.
It still exists? Are you sure it's
Yeah.
still?
Mhm.
Never. I legit never heard of it.
You're not a fucking druggie.
No.
Losers. Do some drugs. The design still looks like it's
take
from the
cholesterol
90s.
medication. That's something.
Blood pressure? Take blood pressure
No,
medication?
my blood
No?
pressure's fine. Oh boy. You all right, Rob? What was that?
Yeah, it
What
was
you
a
have?
burp.
Did you have breakfast today? What are you?
Drinking
What?
Cherry Coke Zero.
All right.
It's nice.
Quick Man Cometh just had a very long post in the chat.
He's explaining where the term roofie comes from. It's from pronunciations of rohypnol.
Seduced with illegal rohypnol.
Oh no! Patient zero.
Gatan Dugas.
It's fucked up. He roofied that monkey. It's fucked up. No way a monkey would have sex with Gatan Dugas consensually.
Never.
He depressed his immune system with pot.
So, Smithline, I believe she had took Manson to court, and her case got thrown out. And so now she's saying that she was manipulated by Evan Rachel Wood to spread false accusations and to make accusations of rape and assault against him that weren't true. And so here's my take on it. What's really annoying is like now all of these like men's rights guys are like, see, he didn't do anything. And it's like, well, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Like I've very closely followed this story because I had to cover it. And this is a very serious story. And I didn't want to misreport on it. I didn't want, I like really actually tried very hard on this story to report the most accurate information. And I can tell you, as someone who has read dozens of articles and watched bunches of videos and done hundreds of hours of research. No, I don't know hundreds of hours, but like someone that really knows the story closely, like Evan Rachel Wood's accusations against Marilyn Manson are not, like her personal accusations of what he did to her are not false. I don't think they're false, in my opinion, because of they're consistent. Her story hasn't changed in years. She was talking about it before she even named him, and like even stuff that he said that he did to her lines up with accusations that she made about him.
What did he say that he did?
Well, he's open about how he like was mad at her and like cut her once or something like that. He said something in an interview. I'd have to look it up. But the stuff that she said, and also she was backed up by other people like Patricia Arquette before Evan Rachel Wood even named Manson. Patricia Arquette named Manson as her abuser and said that it's bullshit that like, you know, he's still allowed to whatever. Also, there's text messages that came out in the Johnny Depp case where it showed that Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson were texting about like
my God.
ways to like abuse women, which was
What?
so crazy.
I can't understand how this guy gets all these. He looks like Sarah J. Like, how is he getting these women?
He's rich and famous.
But they're rich and like.
Well,
She,
one of them
But also he has this aura about him. And also Evan Rachel Wood, when she was dating him, was 18 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, she was very young.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of women with similar stories. Now, did some women exaggerate? Sure. Or maybe. But like, it's very weird, like seeing these men's rights people that are you know, these just immediately don't believe the women or whatever, or just like, hey, it's Marilyn Manson. What did you expect? What did you if you ever read his book? What did you think was gonna happen? Hey,
that means it's okay to roofie an 18-year-old, though.
Yeah, like that means it's okay to be cut by a person against your will.
You should have known. No, there is some kind of a delicious irony to like these incel dudes who now have to side with Marilyn Manson, who like just walks around wearing lingerie and is like the last person they'd ever like want to be in line with, you know. But he's a rapist, so I got to reluctantly defend him now. He rapes women.
Is he actually facing any consequences? Like, is there a trial with Evan Rachel Wood still pending, or what?
I do. Well, I believe yes. I believe there is a trial with her coming up.
Okay,
Uh,
so he might still get some kind of punishment potentially.
yes.
Would it be jail time or just like a fine?
Yeah,
Is
there's
it
No, I
like
a
think
a
he's
federal
facing jail
case or a
time.
civil case? He's facing jail
Yeah.
time.
So yeah, because California, like as we learned with the Vince McMahon case, California opened its laws up for
right.
like the statute of
Mm.
limitations. So yeah, he could get charged with a felony, I believe. Excuse me.
Man, you need to
All
cut
my
back on
Coke
that.
Zeros
Yeah.
burping up. Anyway, so Evan Rachel Wood has since left a comment, and she gave Rolling Stone. She completely denies the claims that she pressured Smithline into making any claims, and has provided screenshots and voicemails and Instagram comments that Smithline left on Woods' Instagram page to kind of show that Smithline was saying all this stuff on her own volition.
So, do we think
And then
that Manson paid off this other lady to back off of her claims, or
I don't know. I mean, I don't. Marilyn Manson has certainly done manipulative things and follows, so it's a possibility, but I don't know. He might even
shady?
be watching right now. Marilyn, if you're
Give us a call.
watching, give us a call
We
or
don't have a
email us.
phone number anymore, but yeah.
Email us riplivecast at
Oh,
gmail.com.
Mm.
if you have any screenshots you'd like to send Marilyn, we'll take a look.
If you have any porn star recommendations for Sid and Darren, or for being on the
I don't know if
mail,
I want whatever Marilyn Manson would be into. I don't think we have the same type. Yeah, as Dusty Rhodes Muffler says, Marilyn Mansion, yes. Marilyn Manson, no.
Is that Joe Manchin's daughter?
No, that is an adult film actress. You don't have to look her up, Rob. It's fine.
When these
Don't worry, I
women
won't.
when these women date Marilyn Manson, do they call him Marilyn or do they call him by his given real
Brian?
name? Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Warner.
It kind of doesn't Brian Warner kind of take away the mystique of Marilyn
Oh, for
Manson?
sure. I bet he wants to be called Marilyn.
Yeah, I think so.
He seems like
A
the
weirdo.
type that is in character all the time.
Yes.
He probably thinks that if he was his regular self, these girls wouldn't like him, which is probably true.
I have a well, I'm not I want to say a friend. My ex-wife, when we were married, was very good friends with this woman who was married to a man whose life was a constant cosplay of Marilyn Manson. And we would just see him on Facebook, like there was no pictures of him just being a regular person. And he was just always dressed as Marilyn Manson. Every function, every show they went to, everything. And then they would do, and they had this, they lived in a house that was like, it was like a creepy haunted house. And they would dress it up for Halloween, but during the rest of the year, it was still kind of Halloween. And he just would always dress like Marilyn Manson. I don't know why. He was like he was like a contractor or something. He wasn't like
he wasn't show up to the job site.
That I don't know. I never saw pictures of him at work.
Tits?
Yeah, he didn't have the tits, but he would wear lingerie and stuff and do the facial makeup type thing. Shave
So
the
it wasn't
eyebrows.
even like he just looked like a Marilyn Manson fan. He was specifically dressing as.
Yes.
Wow, that is fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know. He would build houses. Like that was his job, legit job. And
some men like to cross dress. Maybe that's just the clothes he felt comfortable in.
I wasn't shaming him for the fact of cross dressing, but rather I just thought it was an odd choice that's your drag. Well, it's not even drag. Marilyn Manson is a man. I don't know what the proper term is, but that's right. But he's not really cross dressing. He's like channeling Marilyn.
Yeah, is he cross dressing because he wants to dress as a woman, or because that's what Marilyn Manson does? It's not the same.
Right?
just-
Yeah.
He could have just been a run of the mill '90s goth.
Yeah, maybe, but he's like 50, I guess.
But it sounds like people like. But that if you go to LA, that's like there's plenty of parts of LA where you'll see people dressed like that. Like it's nothing. It's very they're very expressive.
But specifically just dressing as Marilyn Manson or that style. There's a
More of the
difference.
style. I
feel
would
like
say
in
the
your-
more of the style of like a Nikki Sixx, but not too far off from a Marilyn Manson.
All right.
There is sort of a similarity there, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki Sixx is trying to be an 80s video girl, and Marilyn Manson's trying to be a goth girl.
Yeah. Or like I see people that look like they could be in Power Man 5000 all the time.
Still?
That's
Still,
a really specific choice. It's like the band known for being run by Rob Zombie's brother. Like that's there's
Well, they
no-
just have that like very futuristic look, which I guess now would be the
Is that just
it is the
steampunk?
future. But it's
Or-
it's not steampunk. It's like cyberpunk more. Than
Okay.
steampunk.
And where do you see people that are dressed as if they're in Power Man
At
5000?
gigs at the Rainbow.
When was the last
They
time when
go- they go to the
name
Bow.
dropped
I guess
the
it's been a
Rainbow?
few
When
years-
was
it's been a few years since I've been to the Rainbow, just because I'm so sick of seeing people that look like they're Power Man 5000. But that's where you go to find them.
Who's looking for them? No one's going.
Rob is, so he can complain about it.
Rob's trying to get away from them.
Oh, all these cyberpunk guys. I just see them everywhere. Time to go back to the Rainbow to see some more cyberpunk guys.
So
Lemmy's just sitting at the counter at the bar with the stupid slot machine, and three little guys with giant top hats come up, and he wins like $400.
they're like his minions.
He's got the steampunk skin on the slot machine. They uploaded the software for it.
It's been bronze now, they don't they don't let anybody touch it.
Really, there's no machine. Like if I want to go to the Bow and play some slot machines.
I honestly I don't know. I haven't been there since Lemmy's passed. It's actually been a while since I've been to the Bow.
They need the Lemmys. They have slot machines for everything now. If you go to the casino, they have like a Britney Spears, and they have like a, anything in pop culture has a slot machine. It needs to be a Lemmy slot machine.
There has
He's
to
the-
be one.
Yeah, he's the
That
perfect
has-
guy. For it.
Well, there's online slot. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there's online Motorhead slots.
All of those slots that you see online there, they have them. They have a stand-up coin operated or money operated machine in the casino.
If you get 3 Cocoa Puffs, you win the grand prize, but you also have skin cancer.
Oh,
I immediately revert to Beavis and Butthead, like yeah, we love slots.
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 We're going to play slots. Slots are cool.
Darren, did you end up going to the casino, to the slots?
I didn't. That trip got put off, unfortunately.
Oh.
My friend couldn't go that day, and we tried to do it for Friday, and then he couldn't go Friday, so it's on hold. I apologize for pumping that story up. It didn't happen yet. Probably within the next month.
So here's the slot machine, the Motorhead slots. Sluts.
Well, it's cherries. It's not exactly Cocoa Puffs, but if you squint, you could
And
think that those are Lemmy's
horseshoe-
Cocoa Puffs.
The horseshoes and the stars.
Horseshoe
it's-
didn't do him any good.
Yeah.
Are you actually playing, or is this animated?
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
Oh, you could play for real money, Rob. Do that.
Yeah.
Oh, this hooks you in, and then they want you to upload like money.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh, you won!
I
All
won!
right.
Oh my God.
What do
I
you
won
win?
$2.60 on a 40-cent bet.
You win a wall full of Nazi memorabilia. See, I'm
I'm
skeptical.
guessing
of this.
music also plays. I guess it's just
I'm sure this is programmed to let you win a lot, and then you upload money, and then it's like a real slot machine.
Oh, there's Lemmy.
Does Lemmy ever talk to you in this? Like, spin the wheel again, you prick, or something?
Well, that would require them to AI his voice.
I don't even
Oh.
understand how you win. Like, what am I looking to line up here? This is
It's
oriented
very strange, Sid.
confusing.
I think I can be of some help on this because I walk by slot machines, or used
Mm.
to very frequently. They have made it so complicated that the human mind cannot understand. There used to be one line across, you win, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like the more money you put in, okay, on each spin, the more lines you're covering. So you get diagonals, you get these weird jagged lines that go across, you get a W shape. You get like if you put enough money in, you can basically cover every fucking possible like combination of how a line can go across these symbols. And if they go in a line and the same symbols match across whatever crooked lines you bet, you win that bet. It's all designed to get you to put more and more fucking money inside.
I guess it
So-
works.
Oh
Did you say it's the worst way to play in the casino?
It's
The least-
by far not even close to anything else the worst thing you can bet on in a casino. The odds are by far the worst. Not even close. In fact, it's so bad that they give you free rooms if you play a certain amount of slots, and it's a very small amount of slots that you have to play because they don't care even if you put in like $50 in slots. They don't care. They give you things because they think you might play slots some more when you're there.
Because
So
people just show up and they just sit there the whole fucking day.
Yes.
It's
I
wild.
walk in, I go to an 8-hour poker session, I walk out, I pass the same people sitting at the same fucking machine in the same position after playing for 8 hours in poker.
That is.
How do you stare at a screen that long?
It's frightening. I'm sure they get up and go to the Chinese restaurant or something, but I mean, like, they're there for a long fucking time doing the same fucking thing. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. Like,
It's
sometimes
just
I've
not
gone.
fun.
Yes, I've gone with an older friend at times to play cards, like do a carpool down there. And he might go like, "Oh, I want to throw." He's not a degenerate, but he'll throw $100 in the slot machine, and I go sit there and try to, or I might have thrown a 20 in there just to see because I'm sitting there doing nothing anyway. And it's the most joyless game. It's nothing. They don't even
I was
have
just
the
gonna say,
thing.
what's the challenge? Even you're just pressing a button over and over again.
Right. They used to have the fucking arm that you pull the thing down, and most of them still have the arm, but it's
now-
like it's optional.
Yeah.
And they can just sit there and push all of them push the fucking button. Nobody does the arm anymore. They just sit
Too
there
much
pushing
work.
the fucking one button. It's like the Jetsons. George Jetson used to push his button and it did 18 things at once at his job, and that was it. This is what the slot machines are now. It's the most joyless game you could ever conceptualize. Literally one button, the most apathetic thing you can do with your body, other than doing nothing. And that's how
It's
they
like
take
the
money.
Hatch in Lost, where the guy had to keep entering the numbers.
Yeah, it's exactly
Yeah.
that. But at least that prevented the world from dying.
Well, their version of that is like, well, I have to keep hitting this button because I know the second I get up, someone else is going to come and sit here and hit the button, and they're going to win the money.
Oh,
I have
they're
to keep doing
insane.
it.
Oh my God. If they get up and go take a shit or something and come back, if they're running hot on the machine and someone sits in that fucking thing, God forbid, they will fucking, a 75-year-old lady will murder you. I was on that machine. It was hot. It's hot, I tell you. It's hot.
due.
And just so you know, like what they mean by hot is that like when they win, they feel that the coins are hotter, meaning that they're cycling through the machine, so the chances of winning are higher now.
Is it that complicated? I don't even know. I think they just they think
No, that's the
machines
strategy. Is if the coins are
warmer, like
cold,
physically temperature wise.
yeah, if the coins are cold, then it's been a while since there's a cash out, or maybe they have to be colder.
I see. But that makes no fucking sense. Like, it's not on a timer. It's on a randomly generated thing that adheres to a certain algorithm, but it's like an algorithm over weeks. Like, over weeks, it'll pay 40% of the time or whatever the fuck the number is, but not like minute to minute. That's idiotic.
The fucking machines.
Yes, that makes no. They walk around. I never heard this. They walk around feeling the machines, and they think it's the coins are hotter. It's paying
It's like
out.
the produce aisle.
Holy shit! Yeah, the fucking broccoli feels a little squishier. I'm gonna buy this one.
This machine is ripe.
And the opposite is true too. Like they sit on a machine, they lose fucking $3,000 or whatever. I'm off of this machine. I'm going to the next one. Like, it's gonna make a fucking difference. You absolute dumbass. Oh, this one works. It's the same machine with the same software. Like, what do you think is going on here? It's programmed to take an exact proportion of money out of what you and pay off one dumb jerk off every week, and take the exact same amount of money to the dime that some accountant figured out in their office.
I'm looking up a quick see if there's like tips on how
Oh,
to play
no.
the slots, and it's all based like
Dumb
advice
shit.
you would accept. Yeah, it's like play as much as you can because like you were saying, the rewards are higher, or read reviews online, or see what
Right.
the payouts are.
And I want to be
Yeah.
clear about something. As a gambler, poker's more of a skill game, but there's a gambling element to it. But if I'm in a casino, sometimes I'll play a stupid shit game because they're fun. Slot machines aren't fun. There are other games that are less, that are house games that take your fucking money, but they provide some entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm not against those at all. I'm not against throwing your money away and having a good time in a casino. That's fine. Slot machines are literally just picking your fucking pocket. It's the dumbest thing you can do.
It's sort of like how I feel like I love fantasy sports. And I'll even like get on DraftKings now and do bets and stuff, but there's like an element of my knowledge of the sport and the players, and that's why I'm picking what I'm picking. And then once in a while, people will be like, "Do you want to do Super Bowl boxes?"
No.
And that's just random chaos. That's not fun for me because I'm just
Oh.
assigned a combination, and
Yeah.
it either wins or it doesn't. But I had no part in choosing the numbers or
Right.
anything like that. It's just too passive of an experience for me.
If you don't know what a Super Bowl box is, there's a grid of 100, a 10 by 10. You pick an empty box. You pay someone some fucking amount of money. You pick an empty box in this grid. Sometime before the game, when all the boxes are filled, they do a random draw, and each digit is from 0 to 9 goes across the top and the side. And then one is the Rams and one is the 49ers or whatever. And if your box happens to be 0-7 and the final score is 17-10, you win all the money.
Yeah.
And you did nothing. Like
Yeah.
Sid said, you did nothing to achieve this box.
Dusty says Rob thinks a Super Bowl box is food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
like one of
bento-
those
chicken
like,
wings.
Yeah,
Bento.
it's like a bento box from KFC, right?
Oh my
They're
god.
just the sushi is in the color of the teams playing. They use artificial.
Well, bento boxes isn't necessarily sushi. It could be,
Oh,
it could be
okay.
something
Fuck
from
it.
there.
All right,
home
Japanese
trays.
food expert. Okay, we get it.
I don't want to put out false information.
Well, typically they do come with at least a California roll.
Right,
Thank
that's
you,
true.
Sid.
It's included in the box.
Guy knows about Irowid and fucking sushi bento boxes. Okay,
Irowid is pretty popular. In the chat, give me a yes or no if you've heard of Irowid. Give me a yes or no, Dusty Rhodes and Quick Men.
I
By
heard
the
of it
way,
just now, and you fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me the truth. Don't pander to me. I'm no pander bear.
Oh,
What is
nope.
it? Ah,
Yeah,
thank you.
nope.
That's one
Quick
for
Man
me.
Cometh has not heard of it.
That's what I thought.
But Quick Man Cometh in our Discord, which, by the way, we do have a Discord. RIPLifecast.com. You can get our invite for our Discord. You can let us know if you heard about Arrowhead there. If you're listening to the archives, we'll have an Arrowhead. Maybe we do an Arrowhead read along, reading reviews on drugs.
Wasn't that prop comic from the 90s, the legendary Irowid? That's for Sid only, I think.
T-Tam in the chat says, it sounds like someone on heroin trying to say heroin and they have a cold.
Yeah.
Heroin.
Honestly,
Okay.
the first time you said it, I sort of did think that's what you were saying. I was so confused. I was like, did you say heroin weirdly?
Rob has adenoids and he's trying to talk about H now. Erowid. I'm on Erowid.
I did, as a young man, look up both positive and negative reviews of heroin on Arrowhead.
What was the positive reviews?
Feels
fucking great, man.
Yeah.
The one review that I read that like stuck out in my head, that I still remember, was like, oh, it's like laying under a warm blanket on a cold winter day, but better. It's like, opening your window to a summer breeze, but better. It's like all of these things, but better. And then I quickly went to the negative ones to be like, oh, like
I died.
You will
yeah,
die.
or just the withdrawal and all that. Like then I was like, okay, good, okay, that makes me feel better.
I just checked Earwood. There's a review from our friend who writes the Yelp reviews.
Oh no.
He didn't like that kind of needle sharing. That was
He got hepatitis.
yeah. Yeah, negative review. Hepatitis. Robbing a
best
liquor store because
That's
you
a
need
2.5
more
star
heroin.
review.
Or just like someone said they did it and then like they got a big stomach ache and were puking for 2 days. And I was like, okay, I don't there you go.
Entire
This is
life
reality.
fucking ruined
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. Don't
the
do
other-
heroin.
But the positive
That's
side
my
is
message.
feels like you left the window open in June.
But
Okay.
better. But better.
But you lost your job, your wife, your kids, and your house. But
But you're under a warm blanket on a cold winter day.
how about just getting a blanket?
Yeah.
Get like the best blanket. Just get the best blanket. Pay a
Yeah,
little
instead of
more.
buying the heroin, buy a better blanket.
Buy the world's best blanket for like $500.
Yeah, maybe even a comforter. Like spring for a nice, like goose feather comforter.
Yeah, I guarantee you, the world's best blanket, the most expensive blanket, costs less than you will spend on heroin addiction.
Wow. That's true.
Even
High
Bill
thread count,
Gates'
all that
fucking
stuff.
blanket. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos's blankets cost less than the average heroin user's addiction to heroin.
Yeah. I bought a pretty expensive comforter. I don't
boy.
regret it one bit.
Show
I'm
us.
curious now.
Bring it out.
Show it. I
ahead.
can't show it. It's too
Why?
big. Not
What do you
gonna-
mean
it's
it's
just
too
a co-
big? Bring it
it doesn't
over.
look special. It's
Bring
not like
it
gold
over.
plated.
You're like 2 rooms away. Come on, we'll wait.
I recently got a California King.
Oh,
Which I'm
What's
very
his name?
excited
okay.
about.
Wait. A California King
A bed. A
or
California
I was going to
King
ask
bed.
if you just got the comforter and put it on your regular
Well,
old king bed.
well, there are California King comforters. They're just King comforters, but no, I got because the California King is at the. I didn't realize this until doing the research, but a king bed and a queen bed are the same length. It's only the width that's the difference. Whereas the California King is longer, and that's what me, a 6'5" person, was into.
Did I mention this on the air? I once bought a bed that I was sold in the store was a queen bed, and I would always struggle to put sheets on, and it was like just getting to the edge of the I use these fitted sheets. It was just barely covering the thing, and because I was buying queen sheets, and I never put it together that this might not be a queen bed. I just kept stubbornly buying the sheets and then cursing, like, why is this fucking thing? Like, what's wrong with this fucking bed? It's misshapen. And it turned out I bought a king mattress one time. Not a mattress, a sheet once, fit perfectly. And it turned out I had a king bed, and the guy in the showroom was just lying to me. And so I had a king bed the whole time. But I would still curse at the sheets every single time I put a sheet on, like an idiot.
Why would king mattresses are more expensive than king mattresses?
I'm assuming he made a mistake and wasn't like trying to deceive me or anything, and just they had the wrong sign on the thing. He wasn't a very experienced shop worker or whatever, and just said, "Oh, it's a queen because the sign said the queen," or something like that. I've extrapolated.
Mm-hmm.
But
you got the model in the store, or
no? I mean, I ordered this thing that I was pointing to.
I see.
And that was probably said queen, but it was really a king. And he went and filled out the paperwork, and they brought a king over.
Nice little upgrade for Durinsky.
This was years ago, though. And once I figured that out, the next bed, I bought a king because it was like the best bed that I ever had. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. I'm 5'11", and my feet, and Rob's like 6-7 inches taller than me, and my feet would be hanging off of this bed. So my previous beds. So once I got that one, the queen one, I was like, oh, this is fucking great, which I thought was a queen, but was really a king. I wanted to ask you, change the topic, Rob. Can you go to Irowid and look up the positive reviews of crack?
Oh my God. Yeah,
let's do it.
Well, I want just we know the negatives. I think we're all familiar with the negatives of crack. Very similar to the negatives of heroin, slightly different direction, vector. But I would like to know what people have said that is positive and glowing about the use of crack cocaine. Is there even a special thing for crack, or is it just like do they break down the different types of cocaine and they each have an entry? Is it like sub entries like on Wikipedia?
There is a cocaine entry, and then there is a cocaine and crack entry, which I'm currently looking at.
Let's see the crack one. Cocaine and
And
crack. Oh, this
so
really is a bad website.
Yeah, seriously.
It's the design hasn't changed since the 90s. I can tell you.
The people designing the thing are just on too much drugs. That's the problem.
But like as you can see, it has the basics, the effects, the images, the law.
I see
and
that
the chemistry.
They're very neutral, so that's good. But like, what? I don't know if that's good with crack. But what about?
Well, they're not here to judge you. They're just here to present the information. You know?
But where's the part where the people talk about it?
Yes, let me.
On Erowid.
Well, see, as you can see in the basics, what I like about the basics is it gives you the description, it gives you the effects, and then it gives you the problem, like why you would want to avoid the drug. So it gives you all sides of the story.
Right.
Let me look up the reviews. Give me a second here.
Reviews of crack.
Well, that's
I'm thinking of doing crack, but I'm just not sure.
Wow, there's really it's not called. I'm sorry, it's not called reviews. It's called experiences.
Oh,
that's how they
get past that.
Yeah, but like as you can see, there's a lot of articles here. You know,
crack babies. I saw you go.
Ask her and answer.
Go down.
Yeah, there's a whole thing. There's a whole thing on crack babies.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it's just because you get addicted to crack. You have sex to have crack, and then you get pregnant without your will, and then you keep doing crack, and you don't know you're pregnant.
No, but that wasn't what crack. Go ahead, Sid.
I see the bottom one says crack baby references, and in my mind, I'm thinking of like a crack baby applying for a job.
Yes.
It's just
or someone applying for a job and putting a crack baby as a reference. But let me go.
Is it a reputable crack baby?
Rob, I think you glossed over something there, which is it's not just a woman who had a baby because she got pregnant trying to get crack. A crack baby was a legitimate, specific thing where babies were born addicted to crack because the parent was taking crack or smoking crack while they were pregnant. So they were born.
Well, they weren't with a dependency on it. You mean not addicted to it?
What's the difference between those two things?
Well, I feel like an addiction, you have to be like, an addiction could be physical or mental, I guess, but a dependency is physical.
But a dependence is a type of addiction, isn't it?
But they're not. It's not like they're addicted. They just they don't have a say in it. They're just dependent. They're just body requires it.
But I don't think that them having a say matters in that, does it? I know we're splitting hairs.
I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I hear.
No crack baby ever robbed a liquor store.
So
that we know of.
Here are some of the experience. Do any of these experiences speak to you? A crack in the curvature of Mystery's spine. Almost too much fun.
Oh no!
Shooting white.
I doubt the. First of all, two things. Okay, you don't shoot crack. I just want to inform them that you don't inject it into your body. The other thing is, nobody writes as good as that when they're on. No crackhead wrote a crack in the curvature of.
How do you know?
Well, they did afterwards. They're not necessarily on crack while writing.
Yeah. Also, crack is a stimulant. If you're well read,
that's somebody on fucking Goodreads that just wrote that shit. They're pretending.
I want to see. I learned my lesson the hard way.
Okay. So.
Boom.
Let's see.
This is like a live journal.
So this is just cocaine. This is just.
I need crack to read this visually. I can't.
Yes. No. If you go to the experiences, unfortunately, it takes us to the cocaine reports. There's not a specific one on crack.
That's too bad.
But then you could see here. Oh, here's a first time review of crack because it says what in the experiences section, you leave the title of your entry.
Wow.
I guess the user, and then what drugs you were on.
Users.
So, this is very organized.
Yeah, so you see some people mix drugs,
and this is the one you went to said crack freebase. Those are not exactly the same thing, are they? They're like
That
freebase-
crack is freebase and cocaine. Yes.
I thought it was. I thought freebase was like crack was a subset of freebase and cocaine. Like one way to freebase it. Am I wrong?
I'm not sure.
I can't tell you specific, but should we? Okay.
Descent into Hell.
Wait, where did we see
That was
one?
right under the one you clicked.
Hold on. I'm lost now.
Rob's on crack now. Scrolling this.
Oh, I see. Descent. Also, that's also a crack one.
Yeah.
These
All right,
are
this
a
is a
little
pretty
long,
short
though.
one too.
Okay. I can. All right. I can remember my first time to smoke crack. One hit, and I was totally hooked. And the more I had, the more I wanted. I was riding in the car with my boyfriend, and since he was driving, I was lucky enough to get the first hit. I held the lighter to my pipe and melted the rock, and then I looked. Please don't do crack, by the way. I held the lighter to my pipe and I melted the rock, and then I looked through the glass stem at the brownish, oily goo, and I fired it up and I sucked in as much smoke as possible. And I held it until I couldn't hold any more. As I exhaled, I heard this loud humming in my ears, and my heart was just beating so fast. The sound of the tires and the wind was absolutely wonderful, and it felt like I was buzzing all over. A strong sexual desire flooded my body, and I prayed for the feeling to last just a little longer. I tried to get another hit, but nothing was like the first one. I wanted another one right then. It was absolutely the most wonderful feeling. But when the weekend was over, the money was gone, and I regretted that I didn't know how to enjoy life
Jesus Christ.
Pause. Hold
Nothing.
on. I want to ask Sid a question. Are you impressed about how there are 0 typos in this?
There were some like questionable grammatical choices.
Grammatical, yes.
Yeah.
There's no word spelled.
We're not through the whole thing yet, though. You
She's
never
gonna
know.
crack. Is that what you're saying?
Nothing brought me more pleasure than crack. Not my children, not my boyfriend, not my job.
Why is this
Just-
funny to you? What's wrong with you?
Crack. I
Oh,
don't know.
no. There's a
And
twist.
then- oh no! And then I got pregnant.
Oh.
Somehow I love the life within me more than I did crack cocaine. I stopped smoking and now I haven't smoked in 12 years. I have an 11-year-old daughter. I may actually have smoked some before I knew I was pregnant, but she was born without any problems. I love the sound of police sirens in the background. It really adds to the effect.
That's my.
I'm confused by the narrative here. So she's making it sort of seem like this is her first and only kid. But in the previous section, she says she loved crack more than her children.
She had another child while doing crack, I think.
Okay, and that one was good enough to get her to stop. The ones beforehand were shitty and
Yeah. I hope
drove
they
her
don't
to
read
doing crack.
Well, just being pregnant was, I think, enough to get her to stop. She didn't want her child to be addicted to crack.
I'm gonna go with she just hated her other kids, and that's
Yeah,
what
probably.
drove her to do crack in the first place.
What's the username of this
So it
one?
says-
Oh shit! It says Mama Rabba. Oh my god!
Oh, she had a third
No.
kid. I didn't know. Rob, you probably have another.
Her
younger
name was
sister or
was
brother.
Breeze.
Well,
The experience was
Breeze nuts.
1996. She was 38 at the time.
let's see. Rob, how old was your mom in 1996?
I don't know. I don't. Oh my God, she was 38 at the time.
Sid, how do you say breeze in Russian?
I actually don't know. How do you say
Okay.
this in Russian?
Breezechka.
I don't know. So here's another one. Descent into Hell. An experience with crack. Dose
Look.
repeated.
Erowid puts a little note so you don't drive while on crack. That's nice.
Driving while intoxicated, tripping, or extremely sleep deprived is dangerous and irresponsible because it endangers other people. Don't
Did you just
do
say
it.
extremely streep deprived?
Sleep deprived?
Oh,
Yes.
Don't-
Thanks,
don't-
Erowid. Thank you, Erowid. Doing crack while driving is really dangerous. Thanks for that note. I
Look,
appreciate
you can't say they're not trying to be responsible here, Darren.
Right. Yes, I know that many people have died from crack while driving a
Yeah.
car.
Well, I
Can't
think
hold
they're
the
also
steering
saying
wheel.
you're not just putting yourself in danger, you're putting others in danger. So that's not cool, man.
Don't do it. Don't do crack while driving a car.
Otherwise,
Don't-
though.
No. It's don't do crack while driving a car.
Seems like the other way.
Don't do crack while driving a car.
Dusty Rhodes Muffler, Meryl Streep deprived.
Yeah. That's why you
Oh,
shouldn't.
did you say that too, Sid? I'm sorry.
I thought he said streep deprived. So
I'm sorry. There was some crosstalk. I didn't hear. I heard you say you were yelling at Rob. I didn't hear you say streep deprived.
So
I do it so often that it's hard to keep track of what I'm yelling at him for.
username Nate writes, I'm amazed that I'm writing about this. My drug experiences are unusual in the fact that I didn't try my first illegal drug until age 28.
This is like in the format of a Penthouse letter.
Yeah.
I never thought this would happen to me.
Yep, you read that right. It's not a typo. I was that anti-drug kid in high school and college. The only reason I even considered trying weed was due to the pain of dealing with a cheating wife, which led to a lengthy separation, 4 years, and eventually a divorce. Okay, here's the deal. I was very inexperienced in the drug culture due to only smoking weed for approximately 2.5 years.
Oh, I thought he was going to say, like, describe the deal, how he bought crack.
He might get to that. This is pretty long.
Here's the deal. I was on a street corner. No. I was in Germany, and I went on Reddit to find out where to buy the best crack.
Oh, no.
I smoked weed for the first time in 2003 and honestly didn't get high until approximately late 2004 or early 2000. Does he mean that he smoked once
and then it kicked in a year
later? Holy shit, I'm feeling it.
Oh, man, 2 years ago, I smoked that joint.
That's fucked up.
Imagine if that was how weed worked, Rob.
I smoked weed to fit in or appear cool.
Yeah, that's why Rob does it.
Yeah, totally. One of the unintended side effects of getting high on weed is that it made sexual contact that much more intense. True.
Really?
So basically, my then girlfriend, while stimulating my member physically at a party,
This is a Penthouse letter.
My
throbbing gristle was
at a party while under the influence of MJ, suggested that we try coke to heighten our sexual experience. I thought, if there's something that can make me last for approximately 7 hours, as she mentioned, then maybe I need to try it. Basically, a week later, I gave her $80 at 2 p.m. the following Saturday, and she didn't return until approximately 10:30 p.m. with only a bag of weed. I was pissed, to say that least. No, that's not the phrase.
I get it.
However, my hopes were answered when a guy showed up and asked the infamous words, "Hey, do you want to try crack?"
What? Where did this guy show up? What is
and how are those infamous words? That's like, I feel like that's the normal intro to crack. I don't think that's like.
Normally, most people would run at this point, but due to feeling suicidal and not feeling happy with life, I said sure.
Due to the weed kicking in that I smoked 8 years ago, I couldn't run away.
Yeah, this was all a hallucination from the weed from 3 years ago.
I still remember it like it was yesterday. I put my lips on that pipe and breathed in while she lit it. I was so naive in the drug game that I was shocked with how the pipe looked. I thought it was supposed to be a big contraption. It was small and basically fit in the palm of her hand. I sucked for about 2 or 3 seconds and let go of the pipe.
That sounds like a bad date for Rob.
I felt the effects before I exhaled. That infamous plume of smoke. I thought, OMG, this one hit is as intense as about 4 hours of smoking weed. Literally, this is what it felt like. I mentioned, my tongue is getting numb, and they assured me that that was what was supposed to happen.
These poor crack users have to sit there and give him a fucking tutorial instead of like enjoying their crack.
If only he just went on heroin first.
Then we went out to Checkers and got some burgers, and 2 years later, I took a massive shit.
I felt so good that I told my girlfriend that had previously stolen from me that. Wait, what? Hold on. I felt so good that I told my girlfriend that had previously stolen from me, not only that day, but on another occasion, that I now understand why she did it. It just felt that damn good. I experienced a numb feeling and my ears popped. I immediately gave the guy smoking with us a $20 to get the rock that he had. One of her friends walked in and asked me to drive her somewhere. I told her I just smoked rock and I was too fucked up to drive. My world was still spinning after just 2 hits. I looked in the mirror and my eyes were wide open like I was scared. I couldn't get them to look normal. I later found out this is a side effect of first time crack use. Bucked/bulging eye syndrome. I kind of thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So the crack odyssey began. Smoking crack for the first time basically is just like losing virginity to the best looking person possible.
2001, a crack odyssey. When you smoke crack in 1999, you have 2001, a crack odyssey.
I didn't even mind seeing this strange older guy give my girlfriend a shotgun, which is when someone takes a hit of rock and then slowly blows the smoke in the other person's mouth. She immediately drove us to the motel room we rented earlier and picked up a rose along the way. A rose, I later would find out, is available in many convenience stores as a glass cylinder which contains a plastic rose, but is commonly used as a pipe. I don't even remember her setting up the rose or buying more crack, since I just remember buying $20 worth, but we immediately sat down after a 25-minute drive, which seemed to take forever. Normally, once we entered a room, we would immediately start having sex, but not this time. She laid out 3 to 4 white rocks on the desk, and it began. Maybe he meant when we entered a hotel room or like the motel room.
Okay.
She took the first hit, of course, since she was a crack fiend, and gave the pipe to me. I took a hit, and I gave her a rocky shotgun per her request. I was so sprung on that coked up high that I waited anxiously with anticipation for her to give me her shotgun.
I need to break in here. I got to say, a rocky shotgun is when you curl your lip like Sylvester Stallone and it blows the smoke more forcefully. Hey, I'm a blow shotgun. You do better.
I found out later that the way we were smoking, it was very bad and basically a waste. I was pulling hard and she put the entire rock on the stem, parenthesis pipe, instead of breaking it up into pieces. Anyone that is experienced in crack smoking will tell you that you prolong your experiences by breaking up the rocks. Of course, there's more surface area. You said you smoked weed, buddy. Like, it's the same with weed. Come on.
But he was still sort of a noob at that as well.
And the guy's on crack. You don't get on him for his thought process and his logical mistakes.
Yeah.
After what seemed like 15 to 20 minutes, it was gone. Poof, like that. $80 worth of crack down the drain in less than basically 20 minutes. And we both wanted more. I went past my initial budget of $80 for the night, and we headed for the nearest ATM. I was so whacked out of my mind that I actually had the horrible thought of robbing an old lady. And I've never stolen in my life. But I wasn't worried about the morality so much as getting caught by the police. We repeated the cycle of smoking on the bed, with her giving me instructions of breathe out. And then she put the pipe in my mouth while she lit it during my breathe in. She was all right. This is long. It's almost over.
Yeah. I gotta hear the end of this. Right.
There were some unpleasant experiences that night. Every time she went to get us more crack, I became paranoid that the police would bust in the door anytime, so I hid the pipe under the bed until she came back. Also, she was dreadfully wrong about the sex experience. Normally, I never had trouble performing, but this time I had the hardest time getting it up. It seemed like it took forever, about 2.5 hours after we started smoking, for us to be able to be intimate, and it was different. It wasn't great, but it was a little more intense. Normally, she would close her eyes when she was physical, but she had her eyes wide open the whole time and kept her shirt on, which was unusual for her. After our lovemaking, she immediately wanted to go for a 4th crack run, but I begged her not to go. I didn't want her to get pulled over with rock in my car. She seemed agitated and distressed and mentioned she needed to calm down, but luckily she stayed. The next day, on Sunday morning, on her way to her house, we both felt bad and regretted spending that much on rock. I probably spent $250 to $300 total after only planning to spend $80. We only smoked rock 3 times after that. Oh, okay. I broke up with her 2 months later during our anniversary month after 2 years of being on and off due to knowing she was a bad influence, and stopped smoking rock for about 8 months after the breakup. I relapsed and smoked on and off for the next 3 years until I rediscovered weed. I am now sober 9 months as of March 2011, but still remember and reminisce about my rocky experience almost every day.
I I do have one thing in common with this guy. I really, really regret watching Young Rock.
So there we go.
That was something. You think that guy's still alive?
Not a chance.
That was
He's just
written in
smoking weed.
2011.
Not a
So-
chance. He's dead.
I think I'm Team Darren.
I
on
think
that
he's
one.
still alive.
Even if not from crack, he just sounds like the kind of guy who's going to find something else to kill him.
Yes, he just makes bad decisions.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He puts penny with yellow rice. It's very bad.
It don't fucking match.
All right, let's talk about
Wow.
our Spotify picks.
It's intense.
Every week, we like to throw some stuff on Spotify on a playlist we call the RIPL Livecast Music Break. Give it a searchy search. You could find it in there. My pick this week is from Goth Legends, Susie and the Banshees, with their classic Monitor. The song just got stuck in my head this week because it's so damn catchy. So I wanted to share it. I assumed I had already included it on the playlist, but I had not. So that's why I picked it. Sid.
Well, first of all, I just want to say RIP stands for Rainbow Invaded by Power Man 5000. And my song pick, I actually wanted to pick this song last week in honor of Trugoy the Dove from De La Soul passing away, sadly, and way too soon. But I noticed that there weren't De La Soul songs on Spotify for some reason. And then it turns out they're doing this big reissue thing. So as of, I think, yesterday, now all their entire catalog is available. So this week I was able to. It's weird fucking timing, right? Like the dude died and then all of a sudden they have this big
Or this is planned all along.
Oh no, it's an inside job. By the way, did you know Trugoy is yogurt backwards?
And it's also a slur against non-Jewish people.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or a compliment. I don't know. Depends on who's saying it, I suppose. But yeah, so De La Soul, one of the greatest rap groups of all time, especially when I was getting into hip hop as a youth. They were one of the most unique. They'd sort of made it cool to be like nerdy in hip hop, even more so than like Tribe Called Quest. They were like the nerdier Tribe Called Quest.
And I also feel like they're sort of like Keith Hernandez in a way, because like how he innovated defense for first base, and people always say, you know, he made it different. He brought defense to first base, and then no one did it for like the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're kind of the same. They did make it cool for a moment to be nerdy in hip hop, and then it completely vanished again until like very recently. No one picked up the mantle until YouTubers.
They owned that lane basically. Though their later stuff, their style sort of became more like just generic like hip hop group. They like when they first came out, like 3 Feet High and Rising, they were like very hippy dippy and like they're like flowers and stuff in the way they like dressed in the videos. And then subsequent albums, it was less and less that.
I saw it as a natural extension, like they sort of matured and they weren't but they didn't like I don't think they changed like their style consciously like to be marketable or anything. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Good choice.
So I picked Ego Trippin', which is probably my favorite De La Soul song. Rest in peace, Trugoy. Darren, what was your choice?
My choice was Linda Ronstadt. This is who is one of my favorite artists, and I started listening to her shit again because she was featured prominently on The Last of Us, which I was finally got around to watching.
Nice.
I watched all 7 episodes in like 3 days.
So I guess you like it.
I love it. It's great.
Nice.
And it's fantastic. It's like a throwback to old kind of shows in a lot of ways. But she's also partially of Mexican descent, and she made us an album of Mexican songs, traditional folk songs. So this is from that, and it came out in the 80s, I think, and it's called Dos Arbolitos. The album is called Canciones de mi Padre, which means songs of my father. And this song is called Dos Arbolitos, which means 2 little trees. And it's an excellent album, wonderful album. She has a beautiful voice. I had a huge crush on her as a child, and she even aged very gracefully, I would say, and was a beautiful in her old age as well. She rocked the white hair.
She's still alive, right?
Yeah, I didn't mean to say was. I don't know. I honestly don't know if she's alive. I'll be real with you. I haven't kept up with the life of Linda Ronstadt, but I've seen pictures of her as an older lady.
76.
She looks
still
great.
alive.
She still has a sweet, young-looking, pixie-ish face with white hair.
Yeah.
Anyway, Linda Ronstadt, huge fan. The song that was used in The Last of Us, so there were a couple of songs, and they were not from her Latin music oeuvre, but more of her pop stuff. But she's pretty great.
That was
very cool.
A great episode.
That whole thing, I was like near tears in like 2 or 3 episodes.
With characters that you just met 5 minutes ago, and like it's really impressive feat when a show can do that.
Wonderful writing. Everything about that show is just perfectly well made.
Yep. 2 thumbs way up.
There's a few episodes that are like an hour and a half, and I don't even notice. Like I'm through it, I'm done, and I look at the time, and I'm like, that was an hour and 20 minutes. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's great. What is there? 2 episodes left of the season? Maybe?
I don't know. We're through 7, and the next one comes out tomorrow.
Yep. It's awesome.
Rob, I like that
you caught
better.
up, or are you only watching the one? You only watched.
I only watched the one with Nick Offerman,
which is the one with the Linda Ronstadt song.
Yeah, and you don't really need to know anything else that happened to see that.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, that one was very, very heartbreaking.
It has
I had no other context.
It has a little impact on the overall narrative, but not much. But I want to say that I'm a big proponent of releasing shows 1 week at a time. And HBO does this, and a few other services. I really don't like having all the shows released. And this guy that spoke to one of my classes this year was used to work at Netflix, wound up at Warner Brothers, I think, or something like that. And he was like, it's really killing television, or it was killing television, to have things just dumped out like they were during 2020. Like a lot of companies just put something out because they were losing so much fucking money because of COVID in theaters, that they were like, all right, we'll just dump this out. And they released things that weren't meant to be released all at the same time for binging.
Yeah.
And it just made the conversation about shows like ridiculous. You used to get this week to week, like people are involved in the narrative threads and stuff. And all of a sudden it's like everyone's seen every little bit of it. And it just kind of,
well, also I think what sucked about it too is like, if you didn't have a chance to see it, like, you know, there would be shows where I would see people writing about it and posting about it, and I would like avoid it because I didn't want spoilers, because I knew I would watch the show, and then by the time I got around to watching it, I had no one to talk to about it because it's already old news.
Yeah, that sucks. It just made everything more fleeting, I think.
Yeah.
So I love what they do with the like Last of Us is not the only example of this. There's a million shows that are doing this. I think it's coming back into fashion now to do this. I think it's great.
I think primarily it's Netflix that still just releases everything at once. Most of the others, I think, like Apple does it 1 a week, Hulu, HBO.
Hulu's like 50-50. I can't name something off the top of my head, but they do dump some things on there.
Okay. But yeah, Netflix is the one that, like everything, is the binge model.
Mm-hmm. Even the name binge, it's like you're bulimic or something. It's like, why? It's just not a pleasant thing. It doesn't make it sound attractive to do that. I always thought that was a weird choice of word.
It works,
how are we doing
though,
the top? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm trying to wrap up here.
No, sorry.
How are we doing the top Livecast fans of the week?
You want to do it as Lemmy?
All right. Let's see. I mean, I don't really have much of a Lemmy, actually.
Well, then, Darren, do you want to do it as Lemmy?
Is my Lemmy that good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Eric, Benjamin, Dana, we're already off to a bad start because your names are not the same, and you're not. That sounds like Bill Cosby. I don't think I can.
What? I don't think you have Bill Cosby.
Eric, Benjamin, and Dana using the slot machine and
do it as Bill Cosby then. Yeah.
Pudding. Well, we were talking about roofies earlier.
That's right.
Sam I Am and Mindy May's keeper. There was an intern on I Spy that was Jewish, and I took a keeper and I put it in her mouth while she was sleeping, and then I fed her the Jello pudding, and it wasn't kosher. That was a lot of fun. Okay,
cattle decaf. That's what I would give the girls to wake them up when I was done climbing off of them. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And then Hugo likes tacos. My wife, Camille, she loves the tacos. But the problem is that she doesn't like me raping people. Okay. Land the Danks and LaCroix. LaCroix, not good. People drink the LaCroix and it dilutes the rape pills. You see. Okay.
There's too much rape content. You asked me to do Bill Cosby. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Corey and Scotty H. I learned a lot about H on Erowid, but then what happened was I got distracted by the Roofy article. You see. And then I've got Doug Pickman and Douglas Sue, you Leverson. And hey guys, it's Josh. You all sound like men. I'm not interested in raping you, so you're all safe. Nah.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday. We love you. Bye.
Kisses.